Believe it or not, cardboard is a fantastic resource for the garden. You can use it for sheet mulching, you can use it for regular mulching, you can use it as a weed barrier, as a weed suppressant, and you can use it to build soil very, very quickly in the form of like sheet mulching. But I think I found something better than cardboard to use in the garden. Now, before I get into the alternative, remember the Sovereign Health Summit is going to be next October. You can get your tickets down below. It's a Barbara O'Neill health event. Basically, if you're sick or if you have some chronic issue going on, come to the health event and get squared away. There's going to be a bunch of awesome speakers there. Barbara O'Neill is going to be speaking for 5 straight days. Can't wait to see you guys there. 5% discount. Sorry, I can't talk. 5% discount code using capital T, capital P, capital C. All the details are linked down below. Can't wait to see you guys there. Online and in-person tickets are available. Also, if you would like an online permaculture design course where you can learn everything that I know about permaculture, you can even get certified if you would like, hit up the Patreon link down below. And if you would like a consultation, an on-site consultation where I come out to your property and I give you a game plan of what to do, where to do it, and when to do it, hit up my email down below. And if you'd like a soil biology test, if you're unfamiliar with soil biology, it's the reason any of this stuff even grows. If you want one of those tests for your soil, hit up the same email down below. That being said, let's get into the alternative to cardboard that I think might be better than cardboard. And the alternative is this right here. It's a roll of what I think is called construction paper, but it's a thicker brown paper that comes in a roll. Now, why did I get the idea that this might be better than cardboard? It's easy found. Like, it's easy to find. Man, I promise I can talk. I promise, guys. But this stuff is easy to find. You can find it at Home Depot, Walmart, Lowe's, any of the main big box stores that have like a hardware section. You can typically find this, or a painting section. You can typically find this construction paper. Now, another thing is a lot of people are wary about using cardboard boxes because they don't know what was in the box beforehand. Now, depending on like the amount of toxins or chemicals and stuff like that, the soil, if it's alive, should be able to handle it. But this kind of gives you the ease of mind right here. Also, another issue with cardboard, and this is my biggest pet peeve with cardboard, is taking the freaking tape off. That is so annoying. I rarely ever have like long fingernails, so like getting that cardboard tape off is so time consuming. It's so annoying. And yeah, it's like one of those tasks that make me mad while I'm doing it. And that's a big one right there. Another thing is like just sourcing the cardboard. Sourcing cardboard can be kind of difficult depending on where you live and who you're asking for cardboard. For example, like I went to Dollar General one time to come get some of their cardboard. And as I'm putting cardboard into the truck, there's this one guy who's working at Dollar General, even though the cardboard's by the dumpster, and it's none of those like specialty boxes that they're sending back or anything like that. He comes out all like, I mean, you can imagine. But yeah, he started giving me issues saying that like, that's his cardboard and I can't take it, even though it's by the dumpster. And even though I had legal rights to the cardboard because it was by the dumpster, like I was protected that way. Like I wasn't doing anything wrong or illegal. It's like, what is it called? Like, dumpster diving, something about dumpster diving laws. Like I was fully fine doing it. It was just the extra hassle of dealing with some like crazy dude from Dollar General that didn't want me to take the cardboard, even though he wasn't doing anything with it and they were going to get it thrown away. And, you know, instead I could have turned it into soil. But sourcing cardboard can be an issue. And sometimes the cardboard is available when you're not ready for it. And sometimes it's not available when you are ready for it. So sourcing cardboard. And then there's also the multiple trips that you have to take trying to source the cardboard, and it's big and it's bulky, takes up a lot of space. Your wife might get mad at you because you got a secret like little cardboard stash somewhere in the house, things like that. So those are the problems with using cardboard that I have found, and I'm sure there's others that other people have issues with too. And I think this roll can solve a lot of the issues. Now, how about like application? And that's another thing about like application. So with the cardboard, you would have to take all these like individual pieces and you'd have to overlap them, and like the application part can take quite a bit of time. Whereas this, we're just going to unroll. The only issue with, you know, applying this to the soils is the wind, because this is one big sail and it could potentially just like take off. And in fact, I already did a bed, and in fact, I'll show you the bed right now. So the bed that I already mulched is right here. This one is about 4 feet wide, and it's about like, if I remember the measurement correctly, it's about 40 feet long. But this is what I did. I broad forked the bed first, and then I rolled out all of my paper at once, which turned out to be a freaking nightmare. That was a bad idea, is to roll out all the paper at once, because then it was just a management nightmare of trying to keep it down and then get my mulch down before it blew away, and it just was a hassle. Don't recommend rolling it all out at once unless you have like no wind that day. But I rolled it all the way out, and then I applied a wet layer of it's mulch, but this is like mostly chicken bedding right through here. So if you see like the different colors, it's just different carbon materials being used as chicken bedding. Now this one, I will say, not all of the mulch was pre-saturated. Some of the mulch I put down dry, and then I was going to water in the mulch after that. I found out like it's much better to pre-saturate your mulch. In fact, I'll just show you. We're going to do this bed right here. So I think the best route for this might be to start with a little section. I don't know if you guys can tell it all, but it's really windy today. Start with a small section and unroll it to the end of your bed, right? And then what I'm going to do, see that side already popped up, but what I'm going to do is take these little twigs, and I'm going to, oh, you guys can't even see. I'm going to take these little twigs, or you could use some sort of weight or whatever you want to use, and I'm just going to stab it into the ground right here, just to keep this end down as I work my way down the bed. And then I'm going to unroll like a couple of feet, like let's say about 6 feet of it right here, right? And this is going down the center of the bed. And then I'm going to go over here to my pre-saturated mulch, and I'm just going to start applying it. And then keeping your mulch like pre-saturated also is going to help keep like it from blowing away in the wind and everything, right? And another thing it's going to do, so if you've heard me talk about using cardboard in the past, I always talk about like pre-saturating your cardboard, like wet your cardboard first. So that way you break that hydrophobic layer, and then you can get to straight up like absorbing water as opposed to wicking it or anything like that. This, you're going to have to do it a little bit differently. If I were to wet this roll, then I'd have a nightmare. It would be a nightmare to roll out. It'd be a nightmare to manage, all that type of stuff. So I'm not going to wet the roll, and what I'm going to do instead is saturate this mulch and allow it to kind of get the paper wet. Also, this is a lot thicker, and it's a lot less hydrophobic than that cardboard could potentially be. So I'm not too stressed out about it. And it's a lot thinner than the cardboard is too. So there's less to rehydrate basically. And then I'm just going to work my way down. I got to reposition my wheelbarrow to kind of work with me. So I'm just going to add mulch as I unroll everything. And then I'm kind of at it all kind of chunky for right now. And then I'll come back later with a rake and smooth everything out. Now, another reason that I think this might be faster, easier than cardboard is that this eliminates a whole nother step of rehydrating your cardboard. Because if I were going to rehydrate the cardboard, I need a container of some sort to house the cardboard, to hold it. And then I got to get it wet, and then I got to let it soak, and then I got to apply it to everything, and I got to do this like patchwork on the raised bed. Whereas I can just skip the whole pre-saturation part, roll it out, and then add my saturated mulch at the same time. Bam, there we go. And this is still, because it is still a carbon product, like it's still going to feed the fungi, it's still going to feed the worms, it's still going to have a lot of the same biological benefits on your garden. Now, some of you are going to be probably thinking like, oh, well, I'll just put my silage tarp down, and that's faster, that's easier, and that's going to be the way to go. Well, stay tuned, because I'm about to do a side-by-side comparison video of testing the biology of the soil after using this versus a silage tarp. Now, there's people who use silage tarps like seasonally just to kill the weeds before they start their garden. And then there's people who just like tarp over their entire bed, and then they'll burn holes and then plant their plants in the holes. And I'm going to show that both of those methods are just horrible for for your soil, especially when you compare it to something like this. This achieves the same function, but you're able to build soil at the same time, as opposed to making your soil worse and worse the longer it stays in place. And I'm gonna show you, I'm gonna do it like real scientific like. I'm gonna take soil samples, soil tests before, like the biological sample and test before, and then I'm gonna wait a week. I'm gonna apply both, then I'm gonna wait a week, and then I'm gonna test again. And then depending on what the tests look like, if there's been much change, I might wait a little bit longer, or I might just pull up the plastic and then call it good after that. But yeah, silage tarp, you could either be degrading soil and not have to deal with weeds, or you could build soil and not have to deal with weeds. And then even more of a long-term thing, because with that silage tarp, the longer you keep it on there, the more debt you're basically accruing with the soil biology. Like, nature's gonna fix itself. It doesn't care how long it takes. It's gonna fix itself. And once you remove that tarp, you're eventually gonna get to a point where you have like an unruly weed regime that you're gonna have to battle because you built up that debt. But enough about that. Let's keep going on about this. This is also a lot faster. Like, I would not be this far with cardboard so far, with applying cardboard. Moving a lot faster using this paper route as opposed to the cardboard. Now, the only thing I am a little concerned about, that like this might not be as good as a cardboard, is the water retention abilities and the ability to track worms. Because the cool thing about cardboard is, like, as soon as you put it on the ground, it's like there's an alarm system for the worms that goes off, and then they just flock to it. I think, like I've said before, I think it's just they identify an easy mode of transportation with all that corrugation, and that's why they flock to it. I could be wrong, but that's my running theory so far. And then just keep on moving on down. Now, if you're wondering how I'm rehydrating these mulch materials, I basically just fill up the dry mulch in these 2 barrels, and then I fill them full of water, and then I let them sit overnight. So that way I know that this material can rehydrate as much as possible. Like, it's gonna get up to like 50% moisture content, which is ideal, which is a lot more than what it's gonna get up to just by dunking it in there real quick, getting it wet, and then applying it. This one is absorbing water. The other routes are just like getting the mulch wet, and then let it sit overnight. Keep in mind that it's going to expand a little bit. So, like, I've done this before where the mulch was like literally a tower above, and everything above was like bone dry, and everything below was like nice and wet. So keep in mind that, you know, it's going to expand. But this is like the way to maximize the amount of moisture that your mulch material is going to absorb. Because again, it's absorbing it this way. The other route is just getting it wet. Now, another thing you could do to supercharge your mulch is to add compost to the water as well. Sorry, there might be an echo over that barrel. But if you add compost or soil savers to the water of this, and then let your mulch kind of absorb everything, you're giving, especially overnight, you're giving your organisms enough time to glue themselves to this organic material, and you'll basically be inoculating your beds with really good biology from the get-go. That's without having to do like a separate extract, without having to do a separate application of soil saviors. Your mulch is going to be inoculated with really good biology. And every time you water or it rains, it's just gonna wash that good biology down into the soil below. So there's a little pro tip or a little hack you can use on your own place. Sadly, I didn't remember that until I started filming. So I didn't do it with this, but I will be doing it in future applications, because I still got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 more 40-foot beds to do. What are you doing, puppy? As you can see, the neighbor's dog decided to come pay a visit. Now, it looks like a sweet puppy, and it probably was at one point, but there have been some pretty credible rumors that these dogs are actually being trained for fighting. So, yeah, that's also another reason why I'm not doing the permaculture school out here anymore, because that's like right next door. And yeah, there's another issue with Texas. All right, so for those of you guys that might be new to like this type of gardening or this type of mulching and everything, your obvious question is going to be, well, how do you like plant in this, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm planting onions right here, a bunch of onion bulbs. I'm going to pull away the soil a little bit, and I'm going to poke a hole in the paper, right? And then I'm just going to put a little bit of compost in there, And then let me see what the depth is, 1 to 2 inches on onions. So just basically, if there's a sprout coming up, just like you want that sprout above. And then I'm gonna put my little onion in that hole right there. Let me get you guys a close up. So there it is right there. I'm gonna be doing this one-handed so I can show you guys, but I'm just moving the mulch away, and then I'm gonna poke a hole through it right there so you can see the hole right there. Then I'm gonna put a little handful of just some spent compost, stuff that I've used in extracts or like stuff old, whatever it may be. And then I'm gonna put my onion in there, just like that. You can see the little, there you go. There's your onion right there. I'm gonna plant it in right there. Could go a little bit deeper if I wanted to as well. It's just some of these already have like the sprouts coming up too. So I don't want to bury those too deep. And then I'm gonna do the same thing right here. And this is much easier. Another benefit of using this paper is that it's much easier to actually poke a hole through than multiple layers of cardboard. Now, one of the downsides is that this might not it might not suppress weeds as well. So you could do like a couple of layers. This is still like my test run for this. So you could do like a couple of layers if you wanted to. But it is easier to puncture through and like give yourself a place to plant and everything. So there is that benefit. And then bam, put that guy in there. Bam, I got 4 of them right there. And I'm gonna do onions and garlic in this whole 40-foot bed, trying to grow all of what we need throughout the year. So there you go, guys. Hopefully this video was helpful for you guys. Hopefully this is a new technique you can put under your belt, and hopefully you guys find it helpful. As awesome as I found it, hopefully it's just as awesome for you guys. Yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. Can't wait to see you guys at the Sovereign Health Summit. If you need any help from me via soil testing or consultations, hit up the email down below. And if you want an online permaculture design course, hit up this Patreon link down below. That being said, we'll see you.